All right, here we go, guys. We're back. What's going on, boys?
Not much. Living the dream.
What's up,
Ryan?
everybody?
Are you on the high and mighty since you made us all look like idiots last week with your
Oh
picks?
yeah, absolutely. Cried a little bit over the weekend. Timmy Chang, he took a grade A ass whooping, and we're all the better for it, I think.
No, I'm with you for sure, man. I'm with you. We couldn't have been more wrong when it came to that game, but.
No.
Jared, me and you were in the same spot. We were both pretty average,
And he's been all over me, giving me crap about Northwestern Nebraska too.
Hey, let's go.
That onside kick was brutal. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Up 11, had 2 10-point leads, and we're just gonna blow it. Come on, dog.
Yeah, Scott Frost, man, he couldn't have messed that up any
plane ride
for his first
Very
game.
tough plane ride. Very tough.
All right, so today we're going to jump right into it. I know that we had our schedule last week or whatever, so we're just going to jump straight into this. We're going to go straight into the coin toss to see where we're going to go. Ryan, what are we talking about? If it's heads, what are we talking about? If it's tails, what are we talking about?
So our coin flip today is going to be heads. We're going to pick a national championship winner, and if it's tails, we're going to talk about who's going to win the Super Bowl.
All right, let's jump in.
So we'll see where we lie.
Let's see what we got. All right, so here is the screen. We are going to flip this bad boy. Heads it is.
Heads it is,
gentlemen. All right, so we're talking about national championship?
National championship. That's going to be it.
That's your favorite, right? College football?
Oh, yeah.
Expert over here in the building. So who you guys think will win national championship?
Go for it, Jared. Who you
got? I'll start. I got OSU. So I think with a combination of Ryan Day, CJ Stroud, Marvin Harrison's son, Marvin Harrison Jr., and I believe his name's Jackson Smith and Jigba. I probably murdered and butchered that name. But I think their offense is going to be too high-powered. Playing in the Big Ten, too. I just don't see anybody competing with them. I mean, Michigan's really the only competition ever in the Big Ten. So if I have a favorite, I'm going to go outside of the SEC, and I'm going to go Big Ten. I'm going to go Ohio State just solely off CJ Stroud. I think he's going to be a Heisman favorite. I think he's going to be getting all the accolades. I think he's going to be right there at the end. I think they'll be one of the top 3 or 4 teams, and I think they'll blow out whoever leading into the national championship. And then I think the national championship would be them, maybe Bama. I don't know, but I'm gonna go OSU. Stick with the Big Ten.
OSU, okay, solid pick right there. What you got, Ryan? What you thinking?
So it's kind of up for debate. Do I take a kind of not favorited team like Utah and say I'll take 60-1 odds, and if they beat Florida, then they got at least a precursor to a good season, or am I going to just stay in the SEC? So for me, I think even with the turnover that we saw with Kirby Smart and all those players getting drafted into the NFL, I believe that Georgia gets themselves back into the SEC championship for sure, and has that opportunity to be one of the 4 teams coming in. So I'm going to take Georgia to win the national and do a little repeat.
No, I think that's a good pick. It's always good to pick the team that won it the previous year. It's kind of how it works in college football. I'm definitely going with Alabama. I know that's probably the easiest choice for most people. Alabama wins it every year, Gunner. Well, if you're making a pick, why not go with the one that's probably going to win it? I think that, Nick Saban, when he said the words that last year was a rebuilding year and they made it to the national championship, if that's a rebuilding year, the only way that they have a successful season is if they win the national championship and go undefeated.
Yeah.
I think it's tough to go against Nick Saban. I think it's tough to go against those players. And if somebody can beat them, they beat them. If not, I think Alabama has a really strong chance to make a case to be national champions this year.
I think Bryce Young and CJ Stroud will be right there battling it out for the Heisman.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think that, Alabama, I would be surprised if this year they don't get back to running the ball a little bit more, getting back to playing defense and running the ball. That's when Alabama is their best. Yeah. They got away from it a little bit and tried to start throwing the ball and try to start putting some quarterbacks into the NFL. It worked, but There's a lot more opportunities to turn the ball over when you do that. And, you know, I think Bryce Young is good. I don't think he's – I mean, everybody thinks he's going to be one of the top quarterbacks coming out. I personally don't think that he's going to translate well or as well as those to the NFL. So we'll see. You know, it is what it is. But
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and kind of go into our breakdowns. You know, you guys are going to do your breakdowns last week. I thought we did a good job on them. Outside of me picking Charlotte and Ryan picking Hawaii, and Jared going with Northwestern. Nebraska. Other than all that, if everybody would have listened to that and just picked opposite, we'd have done great. So,
please.
Let's dive in a little bit. This is a little bit easier. We've had a week to look at it, so let's dive into the numbers real quick against the spread. So coming off of week 1 against the spread, Nevada, Florida Atlantic, Connecticut, North Texas, Vandy, Illinois, Northwestern, and UNLV are all 1-0 against the spread. The most impressive team against the spread was Florida Atlantic. No, I'm sorry, Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt at plus 44. Plus 44 against the spread right there. So that's a huge –
Thanks for your service, Timmy Chang.
Yeah,
that's a
thanks, Timmy.
53-point move on the spread. That means handicappers in Vegas were all 53 points on Vandy. That's how terrible they are. Anyways, let's dive into the games. Ryan, what's your game of the week?
So my game of the week is going to be the Vols play Ball State. A little bit of Tennessee pride, even though I did pick Georgia to win that national. I can't in good conscience pick Tennessee to be there. So I think that they're going to do well against Ball State. I do think they're going to cover that 35.5 that they have on the point spread right now. Big thing is, as long as we hold on to this offensive structure that built up last year, and we can kind of key in on some defensive problems and kind of shore up that defense and make it a powerhouse, I believe we can get to 10 wins respectively. So for us, I am going to take the Vols as my game of the week and lock, and it's going to be a good one. So we're looking to blow them out, hopefully by about 40 points.
Yeah, I mean, what I was telling you before this, I think Tennessee has to beat a Georgia, an Alabama, or Florida. They've got to do that this year. And like I said, offensively, they're studs. If their defense can improve just a smidge, they've got.
Dude, Hooker was unreal last year.
Yeah, they've got a legit shot, and especially with Heupel being in his second year, they got a legit shot. So, Jerry, what you got? What's your game coming up?
So I got OSU versus Notre Dame, number 2 OSU versus number 5 Notre Dame. I hate Notre Dame. I can't stand them. Independent team, constantly getting in the college football playoffs. I just can't stand them. They always get blown out. I don't even see what's the point in putting them in. Put a team in like Cincinnati that they put in last year, and let's see what they can do. Played well against Georgia. Made it a competitive game. Every time Notre Dame gets a shot, they fall on their face. So I've got Ohio State. The spread's 17.5. I wish it was 16.5. Give me a little room for 2 touchdowns and a field goal. But I feel comfortable taking it. I think they're going to blow them out. Probably win by 21. So that, like Ryan, I'm going to make this my lock. I'm going to go OSU minus 17.5.
Okay. I like that. Looking OSU right here, pulling up on the screen. It's a tough, obviously with Notre Dame being ranked number 5, it's tough at the beginning. The one thing about Notre Dame is they're independent, so they get to kind of pick their own schedule, and they usually have a pretty weak schedule and always get found out towards the end of the season. So for them to be able to have a test early against the number 2 Ohio State, we'll see if Notre Dame's legit, and we'll see if Ohio State is what they should be going into this season.
It's a good game.
What about you, Gunner? I will always be breaking down and giving my opinion on the Chattanooga game of the week. So this Saturday is opening day here in Chattanooga at Finley Stadium. The old blue and gold, the Mocs of Chattanooga, are going up against those ankle-biting Terriers of Wofford. I have played them 4 times in my career. We played some really good teams when they were there. I think we beat them 1 time. They were really good when we were playing them. That triple option is never fun to play against. I believe now it's more of a spread look, like more of a triple option out of spread, and they're throwing the ball a little bit around a little bit more now. But Coach Wright, he was my linebacker coach. He's a great people person. He's a great players coach, and he's got the respect of his coaches as well. I know Chattanooga's favored to win the SoCon this year, and last year when they played Wofford, it was 35-10 in that game. So if we pull up stats, Chattanooga beat them 35-10, and then they went on to beat Furman and Sanford. But the last 2 games of the season, they struggled, and they lost the game they should have won against Mercer, and they lost the game they should have won against Citadel. In typical Chattanooga fashion, they lost them by less than a score. So, what team's going to show up? Is the team going to show up that, everyone expects here in Chattanooga to show up and they get a win, a SoCon win, a dominating win in the first game of the season? Or do they let us down again? I've been a part of some of those teams that let the community down, and we had big crowds in that first game, and then they slowly dissipated because we didn't live up to our end of the bargain. But if you look at it, Wofford also got destroyed by Mercer. They got beat by Citadel in overtime, and they lost their last 5 games. But they had a really strong outing against North Carolina. So I'm picking Chattanooga to win this game straight up. The line has not come out yet. If I had to guess on what the line's going to be when it comes out, I'd say that it's probably 9.5 or 10.5 in Chattanooga's favor. And I think that's a pretty strong line. If it's anything less than that, you need to pound Chattanooga. I would say if it's anything over 17, maybe take Wofford. But I think this is a good win for Chattanooga. And the reason I say that is because if they do run the triple option and they get the ball quite a bit, this will be a real quick game. So less offensive series, less opportunities to score. It's more of a matter of getting up and then making them have to throw the ball a little bit in the second half and take some advantages. Hopefully defense makes some good plays. They got the number 2 offensive lineman prospect, McClendon. They got the number 2 defensive lineman prospect, and they've got one of the top 10 running backs in the league. I think Chattanooga handles Wofford in this opening day matchup. So that's I wouldn't call it a lock because it's not on the betting cards yet, but that's my pick. Let's jump into our 12-point logistics, 12 picks of the week. Ryan, I know you've got the games in order over there. What's the first game we're looking at?
So first game we're going to be looking at is West Virginia, Pittsburgh. It's got an over-under of 51.5 points, and the spread is sitting at 7.5. So right now, I know West Virginia is not favored, but I am looking at West Virginia to upset Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Yeah, man, I agree with that. I got West Virginia as well. I think Pitt, I think they lost a lot of pieces last year, lost Kenny Pickett. So, I don't know. I'm interested to see what they do. I mean, everybody can always retool, but I'm going to go with the upset on this one. Slovis also came out and said, fuck West Virginia. So, I'm interested to see if that's a little bit of bulletin board material or not.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Put it in the papers.
At a pep rally came out and was just like, I got one more thing to say.
Well, I'll tell you this. I don't know extremely too much about either team. Traditionally, West Virginia plays pretty well. I watched them play last year against, I believe it was either Army or Air Force. It was definitely a triple option team. And, they had their moments. But I like Pittsburgh to get this done, and primarily defensively. I think Pittsburgh will do enough to get the job done at home in the opening game. And I think it will be close, though. I don't know where I would lean on that spread, but I can definitely see Pittsburgh winning this game by 3 or 4 points. What we got next?
Yeah, next game coming up is going to be that Tennessee-Ball State game. And for me, I'm going to take Tennessee and, definitely 35.5.
Same. I'm going Tennessee too. I hate that it's 35.5. Vegas always messing with you with that half point. If it was 34.5, I would absolutely be slamming it and throwing the whole bank account on it. But that 35.5, that half a point, man, makes me a little bit nervous. But I mean, Tennessee had like the number 1 offense in the league last year. So I think Hendon Hooker's going to throw it all over Ball State. We got a couple of the guys that are going to be at the game. So I don't know. I'd absolutely slam Tennessee if it was 34.5, but I'm still going to go Tennessee regardless. So.
Tennessee fans and the Tennessee energy is always electric in opening day. They always seem to do a really good job opening day, especially if it's a mismatch. And, last year when they played Pitt, wasn't necessarily the case. But also nobody saw Kenny Pickett coming out of that. They showed numbers on that. So it was Joe Burrow, Kenny Pickett, and there was one more that had just went here soon. I forgot, it was another top quarterback, but like their junior to senior season or their first 3 seasons to their senior season, like they did better their senior season than they did the rest of their career. And now they're going on to do great things in the NFL. So, I don't see that happening to Tennessee with Ball State this time. Are we going – we got to hit the spread in order to win the game? Is that how we're doing the games that are over 14 points, or are we just picking a winner?
No, picking spread one way or the other.
All right.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to go Tennessee as well. I think Tennessee wins this game by at least 42 points. And I think we're defense being the part that I think there's more points off of turnovers than Ball State will be expecting. I think Tennessee still has some holes in their defense, but I think they got some big players on there as well. And they'll pick 6, fumble recoveries, muffed punt, special teams points, stuff like that. I think Tennessee gets the job done. All right, what we got next?
So next is going to be the Penn State-Purdue game coming in over under 52.5 points, and it's looking like Purdue is going to be a plus 3.5 points. So right here, I want it. And I want it bad. I'm taking Purdue plus 3.5. I'm taking Purdue outright, but on my bets, I'm going to be taking that 3.5 points.
I absolutely hate this game. I have no clue what's going to happen in this game. It terrifies me. Purdue always somehow manages to murder like a top 10 team every year.
Last year.
Yeah. I took out Iowa when they were number 2. It just broke my soul for the season. I was like, come on, anybody but Purdue. Like, let's lose to Ohio State, sure. Michigan, sure. I get it. But freaking Purdue. So just because of that, I'm going to go Penn State. I'm going to go Oppo Ryan. I'm going to go minus 3.5, and I'm going to ride the spread on that bad boy.
Yeah, I like that as well. Penn State's one of those traditional teams. They've kept their uniform the same since back in the day, just like your teams like Notre Dame and Alabama and teams like that. I like that. I like that traditional, that integrity, that loyalty to the beginnings of the program. I don't see Purdue being that much of a player this year. I think this line is based off of what they did last year against top teams. And I see Penn State actually running away with this game much more than a 3-point game. I think the line makers got this wrong, and I see this being more of a 2-score game.
Okay, sleeping on Purdue. All right, so the next game is going to be Michigan State versus Western Michigan. So on this one, we're looking at 54.5 point over-under, and they are favoring Michigan State University by 22.5 points. I absolutely believe Michigan State's going to just stomp a mud hole in their ass. So I'm taking Michigan State for that 22.5.
Oh, my God. So I love that.
I'm with Ryan on that one. Michigan State, love Michigan State. I'm a Big Ten fan, obviously. So I think Michigan State's just going to, like Ryan said, I think it's just going to put them in the dirt early and just keep the pedal on the gas. The 22.5, like I said with the last one, I wish it was 20.5, but Vegas knows what they're doing. So, I mean, even 24 points, 3 touchdowns and a field goal, I like it. So I'm going to go Michigan State with the spread on this one.
Listen, boys, I think that's the first one we've agreed on all day. So if I was the public, I'd be fading us and taking Western Michigan. But I also believe that the Michigan State gets this game done. I don't even really see West Michigan scoring. So as long as it's like, 24-0. Michigan State's traditionally known for their good defense and running the rock. So hopefully they stick to that. The game's pretty quick, and it's a 28-32 ball game. I'm going Michigan State as well with the spread.
Awesome.
What we got next?
So that's our Thursday games. So we're coming into our one and only Friday game. It is going to be Illinois versus Indiana. We're looking at an over-under of 45.5 points, and Illinois is actually on plus points with 2.5. So Indiana's favored in this game. I'm actually going to be looking at Illinois to upset, especially after last week. They did really well. Got some points on the board early and just kept rolling through. So definitely going to take Illinois on this one.
I hate it, but I'm with Ryan on this one. Illinois, with the way they looked last week, I didn't expect literally anything at all out of them, and they came out with the pants on fire. So I'm absolutely going to ride Illinois on this one. I think plus is for them to be plus 2.5 is kind of crazy. I could see this either way, but I got to take the points on this. I don't know why you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going Illinois on this one as well, mainly because Chattanooga plays Illinois here in a few weeks, and I want Illinois to be undefeated when they play them, so Chattanooga can whoop that ass for them real quick and bring it like a win to Chattanooga. Makes us look a little bit better. But, yeah, I think Indiana, they're trying to find themselves a quarterback. Obviously, they got their highest-rated quarterback I think that's ever came through Indiana going to be starting. But, that could be a bust. And when you have a quarterback controversy, if he does bad a little bit, they might pull him and go to somebody else. Fans are, bandwagon jumpers, so they'll jump right off the quarterback real quick. With this being 3, I think the reason this is -3 going for Indiana is based off of last year. I think the only reason why it's close to 3 is because Illinois played well in the first week. I think this is probably more like a 7-point spread, and I see Illinois getting this game done by a touchdown.
Okay.
You're all over it.
Awesome. So we're running into Saturday here. Looks like our first Saturday pick is going to be Chattanooga-Wofford. So definitely going to stay on the Gunner train with this one and going to ride out the UTC Mocs. Going to win it. So going to call on that one.
Even though the Gunner train let me down last week with Charlotte. I'm going to roll with my boy. I'm going to stay on UTC, and we're going UTC all the way on this one. Got to go for the home team.
Hey, I just picked the wrong Chattanooga former, coaches last week. Florida State had my offensive coordinator and my defensive coordinator calling the shots over there, and they just bamboozled Duquesne. So I just picked the wrong one. Healy will get back on track, but yeah, Chattanooga wins this game. Whether it's ugly by 1 point or whether they do what they're supposed to do and win by 21, Chattanooga's gonna get the dub, and they're not going to send our fans home sad on Labor Day weekend. So Chattanooga gets a win.
That's a plus. Everybody loves the market when they win.
That's right.
So the next game up is going to be Cincinnati, Arkansas. We're looking at an over-under of 51.5, and it looks like Arkansas is going to be favored by 6.5 points. So on this one, I'm going to take an outright. Not going to do any kind of spread. So I'm looking at Arkansas to go ahead and pull it out with Cincinnati on the losing side.
I'm gonna actually take the spread on this one. I like the 6.5. They're not giving you the BS with the 7.5, where you got to win by more than a touchdown or whatever. I think Cincy just lost too much last year with Desmond Ridder, so I don't know who their starting quarterback is. I think we were talking about it earlier. I don't know if they've decided.
I'm not sure either.
I have no clue. So I'm going to take Arkansas. I'm going to take the spread. I think Ryan said he's going money line. I'm going to take the spread and ride Arkansas at home.
Yeah, listen, I'm an SEC guy. I think that usually when SEC teams play teams out of conference, it's a mismatch because those guys have to play the best of the best multiple times a year. I was the same way in FCS ball when I was playing with the SoCon. Like, I just assumed our teams would beat other conferences because we had the best competition. Mm-hmm. So I'm going Arkansas right here as well. And I think the only reason why the line is this close is because of what Cincinnati did last year and the year before that. But like you said, they've lost some studs. So I'm going Arkansas as well.
I don't know how much y'all watched Arkansas last year too. That quarterback Jefferson, the big old boy. That dude he's a middle linebacker playing quarterback. So dude's a freight train.
What we got next?
And it looks like Fickle, head coach over there in Cincy, has yet to name a starting quarterback.
Okay, good stuff.
So our next game up is going to be another spread option. We're looking at Oregon versus Georgia, and it's going to be an over-under of 53.5 with a 16.5-point spread. Oregon is the beneficiary of that. On this one, I know, with Georgia leading what they have, but I believe with their turnover, week 1 is going to be a little difficult for them. I am going to take Oregon on the spread. So give me Oregon with 16.5 points to cover.
All right. I've been sitting next to Parker, and Parker's been whispering sweet nothings about Georgia in my ear all day. So I think he was saying, like, on third down when those pass rushers are coming in off the bench, there's still the same caliber of guys. Still 5-star recruits. Yeah, some people leave. Yeah, they had 8 first-round draft picks, but those guys are going to fill in just like Alabama does every year. So I'm going to take Georgia, and I think the spread's 16.5. I'm going to take it. If it was 17.5, I'd probably be with Ryan on Oregon right here, but 16.5, get it done with 2 touchdowns and a field goal. I'm going to go Georgia on this one.
I am going with Georgia as well. Back to the SEC play. Listen, I think, Oregon obviously is a good ball team, and I thought they did well towards the back half of the season. And Georgia, pretty much their entire team got drafted in the first round by the NFL. But the only thing that sucks about that is that their backups will probably also get drafted in the first round of the NFL, and their backups will probably also get drafted in the first round of the NFL. So I just think Georgia coming off a national championship, this game will not be close. I see this game probably being more along the lines of 42-10, something like that. I see it being and those 10 points coming maybe late in the fourth quarter. I could see Oregon maybe scoring early and scoring late, but I don't see much scoring in between for this game.
I can't sleep on them Ducks.
This is probably the one I'm most interested to see pan out for all of us because, like Gunnar said, I could see it being a bit of a shit show, but I don't know. Oregon's so damn fast, man. You never know.
Yeah, quick pace.
It used to be so fast. That's like a misperception now of Oregon. Everybody thinks of Oregon as like the Oregon of Chip Kelly and back in the day. That's not Oregon.
Mariota.
They just have really cool uniforms now.
Make me feel even better about it, Gunnar. Make me feel even better.
That's a plus of being in the same state as Nike. You can't knock that.
When you never wear the same uniform twice your entire career there, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it has to be. So next one coming up is going to be Florida playing Utah. So Utah is ranked. Florida is not. Looking at an over-under of 51.5 with a 2.5 point spread. And Florida is actually on the plus of that. So on this one, I'm taking Florida and just going to go outright with it. I think Florida wins. I think it's going to be more than a field goal, but give me Florida. Give me the Gators.
I'm with Ryan on this one, and we may all very well maybe on the same train on this one. But SEC, Florida's been lacking, but I like their quarterback this year, so I'm going to roll with Florida.
Yeah, listen, one is the SEC. Two, it's Florida versus Utah. Utah had a good season last year, so that's where this spread's coming from. You guys got to keep in mind they're going off of last year.
Yeah.
And Florida got a head coaching change, right? It was Billy Napier. Dude's a stud. Everybody was wanting Billy Napier. He's not losing his – Billy Napier could take the team he had last year and go beat this team. He's not going to Florida with more impactful players, more skilled players, and losing this game. This is not only I'm not only picking Florida right here. This is also my dog of the week. Florida gets this done as a dog.
Awesome. So we're pretty much agreeing on that Florida. So next one up is Jared's favorite. We're looking at Notre Dame and Ohio State University. Looks like we're looking at 59.5 over under and a point spread in the favor of Ohio State of 17.5. So with this one, I'm picking the spread. I'm going to go Ohio State with that 17.5 point spread. So lock me in on that one.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like I said earlier, I'm all over Ohio State on this one. Notre Dame never shows up for the big game. Always gets to the big game and shits their pants. So I'm going to go Ohio State. What was the over-under, 59.5?
Yep, 59.5 on over.
Maybe even take the over on that bad boy. I'm gonna stick with our spread, but I'd say maybe take the over and just hope Ohio State just runs them off the field.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going Ohio State there too. I think the game is probably at least a 3-score game. So with that, it even covers. So Ohio State wins that game.
Awesome. So, that's going to be our Saturday games. We're running into the one for Sunday. It's going to be Florida State versus LSU. Looking at over-under 51.5, and looks like LSU is favored by 3.5 points. So with this one, I know it's kind of a running theme right now, but I'm going to go with the SEC and LSU.
Have to, man. Florida State hasn't been good since Jameis Winston left. I'm going to ride with LSU. I don't see anything surprising happening. I'm surprised, honestly, that it's 3.5 points for LSU.
Yeah.
I figured it'd be a little bit more, maybe 7.5, something in between that touchdown and field goal range. So I'm gonna ride LSU and I'm gonna ride the 3.5.
So, like I said last week, I like to go with my Chattanooga boys, and the offensive coordinator for Florida State was my offensive line coach when I was at Chattanooga, Alex Atkins, and the defensive coordinator was literally my linebacker and defensive coordinator coach when I was at Chattanooga, Coach Adam Fuller. Coach Fuller is the best coach I ever played for. He made me literally the player that I was. He took me from being I shouldn't have been playing to a 4-year starter, and that was by just putting me in the right position. And Coach Atkins has a very mediocre offensive line doing really good things. So the key here is, can they get ahead of the chains on first down in order to open up their playbook? And can they get stops on defense? I am leaning towards Florida State right here to pull the upset on LSU, mainly because I'm riding with my boys. But I'm definitely going Florida State right here to kind of have a bounce back and get on the right pack. And they looked great last week. So, I mean, start off 2-0, I'll ride Florida State.
Respect.
Awesome. All right. There you go. That might be your upset of the week. So last game coming into Monday is going to be Clemson versus Georgia Tech. Now, on this one, we got an over-under of 48.5, and the point spread is in Clemson's favor at 22.5. So with this one, I am going to pick a spread, and I'm going to pick Georgia Tech to keep their points up and hold strong at that 22.5 plus. So give me Georgia Tech and the points.
I'm going Clemson on this one with the 22.5. I could absolutely see Georgia Tech's style of offense just chewing the clock and kind of keeping it close, like Ryan's saying. Could absolutely see that, but Clemson's the only real team in the ACC. So just on that fact alone, I'm going to have to go Clemson.
So I'm going to fade both you guys on this, not because I don't think Clemson's going to win. I think they win. I think that Georgia Tech is implementing a new offense for the first time in a while. And I think it's going to be a little bit more explosive than what people are used to. And it's hard to prepare for something that you don't necessarily know what to prepare for. So with that being said, I think Clemson runs away with the game by the end of the game. But I think Georgia Tech can keep it close enough to stay within 22 points, which is what I'm showing the line is right now. So I'm going to go Georgia Tech in the points.
This one probably scares me the most as far as my points being covered.
So that's going to be that. Now, we're just walking into our locks, dogs, and parlays.
All right. Y'all go through it. Let me know what you got.
So right now, on my lock of the week, I am going to go with Tennessee minus 35.5 to cover over Ball State. That's my lock of the week.
My lock of the week, I'm going to stay on that OSU train, and I'm going to take the 17.5. That 1 point makes me nervous. Man, I wish it was 16.5, but I think they're just going to mud stomp Notre Dame.
So Nick Saban, opening day games, is 11-2 covering the spread. He plays much better teams than Utah State, and Utah State didn't really show me much, especially from a depth perspective coming to this. And this is going to be a rebuilding year. I look for Alabama to win this game by 50-plus points, no problem. So I'm taking Alabama as my lock of the week at minus 41.5.
That'll be a nice one. So on the next, I'm going to go dog. My dog of the week, and it's weird that we're going to say this, but Illinois to upset Indiana is going to be my dog of the week. So taking Illinois.
Respect. My dog of the week, I'm going West Virginia. I'm taking the plus 7.5. That extra half point makes me feel kind of cozy. I don't know what Pitt has to offer this year. I don't know what their quarterback situation is going to look like. So I think West Virginia can walk up there, especially with that little extra bulletin board material, and put it on old Slovis. I'm not a big Slovis guy either. USC, didn't like him there. Don't like him here.
So I'm looking at the money lines here, and Florida State is plus 129, and Florida is plus 125. I think I feel more confident in Florida beating Utah than I do Florida State beating LSU. So I'm going to go Florida plus 125 on the money line as my dog of the week.
Awesome. That's a good one.
That was going to be my
I'm
backup.
very
one.
surprised. Very surprised those points that they're given and taken away. So parlay, my parlay for this week is going to be Purdue upsets Penn State. I'm going to go with Illinois upsets Indiana. And my final leg is going to be Florida upsets Utah. And that's actually rolling at plus 1,000 on odds. So it's pretty strong for what I believe to be a walk in the park.
Very juicy on that one. I got Arkansas minus 6.5. Love the quarterback. He's an absolute freight train. Like I said, he's going to run all over them. Georgia 16.5. Love that they're keeping it under 17 right there. And then I've got Ohio State. I'm just all in. If Ohio State loses this week, I'm done, boys. I'm absolutely just toast.
All right,
I
so
don't have the odds on that bad boy, but Arkansas minus 6.5, Georgia minus 16.5, and Ohio State minus 17.5.
All right, so here's what I'm going to run with my my parlay. I'm going Tennessee minus 35 on the parlay. I'm going to go Illinois plus 3 on the parlay. And then the odds have yet to come out yet, but I will be taking Chattanooga straight up money line, or maybe the spread, depending on what it is. Especially if it's under 4. If it's under 12 points, I'll take Chattanooga on the spread. If not, I'll take a money line. If you're looking at just taking Tennessee minus 35 and Illinois plus 3, that's plus 256. So if I was to find something which I think might be a similar odd, let's go. North Carolina State's favored, 11.5 against Eastern Carolina. So that's minus 460. So if we threw that in there, you're looking at plus 334 for Chattanooga straight up. With Tennessee minus 35 and Illinois plus 3. Or if I play them on the odds, you're going to be looking at about 581 to 600 on that. So that's my game. So I'm going to go Tennessee, Illinois, and Chattanooga.
Awesome. All right. Well, yeah.
All right.
So here we are at the final whistle.
So here we go. So yeah, we got Ryan 9-3, me and Jared 7-5. I believe we had a bunch of different stuff right there on the picks. So it's up to you. We're gonna line out of here. You guys, let us know what your picks are in the comment section below. This will be up on all the other streaming platforms here soon. Looks like this is going to be about a weekly 40-minute show, so that's fine. But we appreciate you guys, and we'll catch you next time. See you, boys.
Looking forward to it. Let's go Tennessee Vols.